Hi, Jessie with Milestone Plumbing, and today we're going to talk a little bit about lavatory sink care. A common question we get to our office is people will call and say that the water smells bad when they turn on their lavatory sink to wash their face, brush their teeth, or just to simply get a glass of water. One of the areas that this can be caused by is the water quality. If they're turning on the hot water only and they're getting a sulfur-like smell, but they're not smelling it from the coal or anywhere else, that can be an issue that's happening with their water heater. There's an anode rod inside, and if that starts to break down, that can cause that odor to happen, and the water heater may need to be serviced. If the odor is coming from the hot and the cold water, only from the water, and they're able to decipher that maybe by putting the water in a glass and they take and just kind of waft what the smell is, that could be a water quality issue. Sometimes iron, when it's inside of the water in high concentrations, can cause there to be an odor, and water treatment equipment might need to be installed or possibly need to be serviced to correct the aesthetic water issue. Another area that the odor can come from, and often is described to us as a sewer-like odor, is the drain area. Inside of the sink, there's two different areas of the drain. This is the pop-up area that holds the water and allows the water to go down. This spot over here is the overflow. Sometimes the overflow is on this side of the sink, sometimes it's on the back side. Some sinks don't actually have an overflow. Inside of here, there is a channel underneath that's cast into the sink that allows the water, if it starts to get too high, to go over through this little hole, get down into the drain system so that the sink does not overflow. Bacteria can back up inside of this channel and also down inside of this drain and cause those odors that are sometimes not very pleasing when you're getting ready to get ready for the day or get ready for bed. There's a lot of different maintenance pieces that happen with just a basic lavatory sink. One common area that you can check yourself very easily is the aerator. Sometimes people tell us that the water will spritz and kind of splash and spray oddly from it. Sometimes no water is coming out at all, or a very restricted flow. There's lots of different aerator types out there. This one has an exposed aerator, meaning that I can get a hold of it. It's all here, it's very accessible, and it just screws off from the connection to expose the area underneath. You can see inside of here, there's quite a bit of sediment that has started to accumulate there. This could be if you're on a well, or if you have a lot of just different iron particulate inside of the water. Sometimes it can also just come from the pipes, and an easy way is just to remove it so that you can get that debris outside of there. Take it to a piece of paper towel and just wiping it off. You can also sometimes soak them in a little bit of vinegar if you're seeing that there's a lot of buildup. This one's relatively clean. This is only a faucet that's about 3 years old, so there's not a ton of buildup. And then all you're going to do is essentially just reassemble it the same way you took it apart, and then just re-screw it back onto there. Sometimes aerators are not as easy to remove, and they may be recessed up inside of the faucet spout. Those usually have a key that you can use to remove them. If for some reason that key, and when I say a key, it's not a key like you'd use in the door, it's a small tool like a plastic tool that would fit up inside of there to remove it. If for some reason it's gotten lost, or maybe it's been misplaced and somebody threw it away, you can actually call the manufacturer and request a new one to be ordered. And if you need help identifying the model of the faucet to do that, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. Another area that does require some maintenance is where we've talked about in the past, the drain odor that can happen. When you turn the water on and you get a little bit of a plume of maybe an odor that smells like sewer, or it just doesn't quite smell right, could be that there's bacteria building up inside. This pop-up allows us to remove the stopper very easily, and you can get access to take something simple like maybe a toothbrush and use the bristles to scrub just gently to remove that debris. You can use a little bit of soap. This is obviously an old toothbrush that's been retired from using for day-to-day use, and so we hang on to those to get rid of that type of debris. You'll want to make sure that after you clean this, you disinfect the sink real well, because what this is a bacteria, and so all of these surfaces have now been contaminated, and you don't want those to be where you're going to be brushing your teeth and washing your face. You can use it with just a household cleaner, a little bit of bleach water, just something to kill that bacteria off as you clean the drains. Another area that does require being cleaned out periodically is the overflow channel if your sink has an overflow hole. This overflow is on the back side here. One easy way to clean that is to simply close the drain, fill the sink up with water, and to put a little bit of bleach water in there or a cleaner to help kill off any of the bacteria that's trapped inside. Once that sink is filled up, you're going to have the water transfer over into the overflow and go down into the drain system. You can also take a bottle brush or something that's narrow to get inside of there to help scrub out some of that old bacteria. After you're done doing a little bit of scrubbing and a little bit of cleaning, it's also great to then open up this drain and allow that pressure to push and clear out that trapway. You hear that the drain is operating very well. It's not doing a glug glug noise, which would tell us that there is a restriction somewhere that may need to be cleaned. And that little bit of extra pressure with that water helps to clear that trapway, get all of that bacteria that's been cleaned out, flushed away from the system so that you're back to being almost brand new. One important thing, if you hear that there's a glug glug noise, that tells you that there's a restriction, and many people are eager to put drain cleaners down the system. Drain cleaners can be very corrosive because they're chemicals. They will eat away at the metals that may be inside of the drain immediately in the lavatory area, down inside of the trapway, into the wall area, and all the way down underground going out to the street. As those corrosive chemicals sit inside of your drain system, they will eat away at those pipes and will lead to very expensive repairs. If you want to maintain and keep your drains clean, it's important to try to keep hair out of there. Make sure you're running enough water when you're brushing teeth, washing your face, washing your hands to help flush away those cleaning products. And also another thing you could consider doing is using an enzyme-based product periodically inside of your drainage system to help eat away and break those up. The enzymes are not made of chemicals, so they're safe to use in the drain, but the tricky part is you have to make sure you're being proactive and doing it regularly before you have an issue. Most people don't use a product until there's a drain blockage. It's too late for an enzyme product to work, so if you're going to take a proactive approach, an enzyme product would be a great solution. Otherwise, just general drain maintenance should be able to help you keep that clean. And worst case scenario, if you get a stopped up drain or you have an odor you can't fix, give us a call. We're happy to help. Another common source of odors inside of the bathroom and an area that requires regular maintenance is a shower drain. The simple shower strainer here, usually you can see if there's hair that's accumulated on top. Good rule of thumb is just every time you use it to remove that hair so it doesn't get down inside of the drain system. But sometimes you'll get a stagnant odor when you turn the water on that might get stirred up inside of there, and it could be showing you signs that there's some bacteria underneath. So usually you can remove these. This is a pretty easy pop on off, and you can see that over time a lot of different bacteria has kind of accumulated. There's a little bit of soap scum inside of there. Getting access to that allows you to take an old toothbrush to kind of clean and to scrub that so you can wipe away those germs and get rid of anything that could be causing that odor. It also allows you to open up that drain and use a tool, and you can get this at a big box store. It's just got these little splines on it to get down inside, and you can turn that counterclockwise or clockwise to try to remove any hair that's gotten down inside of there. Also removing it so that you have access to it allows you to use that toothbrush to kind of scrub those walls so that you can use a little bit of a cleaning product to get this all back to being almost brand new, get rid of any odor that's maybe caused there. Another important thing to remember is just to keep that drain flushed out well too, so that you don't have water sitting down inside of the trap where it's a little bit harder to get to. Again, as we've talked about in the past, not a good idea to use Drano and other products in there. The best way is to be proactive and keep the hair from going down into the drain so that you don't have to worry about a blockage that's happening further down the system.